The weather shifts today are nothing short of dramatic, and the signs of change are crystal clear. This winter is shaping up to be one for the record books, delivering some of the heaviest and most intense conditions we've seen in years. From relentless snowstorms blanketing the Midwest to icy winds sweeping across the East Coast, America is experiencing the raw power of nature in full force. To everyone across the country, this is your call to action. Take precautions now to stay safe and prepared. Bundle up against the biting cold, stock up on essentials, and ensure your vehicles and homes are winter ready. If you're in an area prone to power outages or heavy snow, stay vigilant and keep an eye on updates. This winter is here to remind us just how unpredictable and awe-inspiring the weather can be. Stay safe, stay informed, and don't let this wild season catch you off guard. This winter storm is intensifying, everyone. A lot more snow is on the way, along with freezing temperatures and rain across the southeast. Winter storm warnings are now in effect, which means you're within 36 hours of impact. As we move through tonight and into tomorrow morning, avoid traveling in your vehicle. Stay home, stick close to your neighborhood, and enjoy the snowstorm. However, be aware that the cold temperatures moving through will be dangerous. Wind chills will make it so that just 10 minutes outside could cause frostbite. We'll come back to the timing and impacts of this winter storm, but first let's discuss some critical information about frostbite and dangerous temperatures. Frostbite and dangerous temperatures can occur in as little as 10 minutes when your skin is exposed to minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what we're expecting tonight and into tomorrow, with very cold air moving through. Temperatures are dropping to minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, and in some areas they could reach as low as 20 degrees Fahrenheit. As this cold air continues to spread across the Midwest tonight, it will push farther into other regions tomorrow afternoon. It's not just the low temperatures you need to watch out for. The wind chills are equally concerning. Wind chills of negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit can cause frostbite in just 30 minutes. Signs of frostbite include loss of feeling and white or pale skin on extremities such as your fingers, toes, earlobes, and the tip of your nose. By tonight and into the morning, a large area will experience wind chills of minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, meaning frostbite risks will increase dramatically. Remember, even without wind chills, spending just 10 minutes outside in these conditions could cause frostbite. With wind chills, it's even more dangerous. If you must go outside, limit your exposure and take precautions to protect your skin. Updated snowfall totals and shift. The National Weather Service has released new snowfall totals, and they show even heavier snow expected in some areas. For example, 6 to 8 inches is now possible in certain regions, with some localized areas seeing even more. Houston is in the 3 to 4 inch range, though totals there might end up being slightly lower. However, Lake Charles, New Orleans, and Lafayette are looking at 6 inches or more of snowfall with potential for higher totals. Southern Mississippi could see 2 to 3 inches, while southern Alabama, including Mobile, is also in line for over 2 inches. Snowfall totals extend north into parts of Georgia, where areas near Macon could see over an inch. In Florida, the Panhandle near Tallahassee could receive between a quarter and half an inch, though some areas might see as much as 3 or 4 inches if heavier snow bands develop. This would be historic for northern Florida, where significant snowfall hasn't occurred in over 60 years. Snow is also expected in parts of the Carolinas, with North Carolina seeing heavier snow along the coast. Coastal areas may receive 3 to 4 inches as the storm moves offshore, with inland areas potentially receiving half an inch or more. Atlanta may see snow as well, though accumulation might remain minimal. Shifts in the forecast. According to the latest model runs, the heaviest snow has shifted slightly farther south and east. For example, Louisiana is now expected to see heavier snowfall in the West Bank and New Orleans areas. Southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, and parts of Georgia are also in line for increased snowfall totals, with some areas expecting 3 to 5 inches. The updated models also indicate heavier snow across the Florida Panhandle, with 3 to 5 inches possible, and isolated areas seeing up to 6 inches. Southern Georgia could also see 3 to 5 inches, with similar amounts extending into South Carolina. Columbia and surrounding areas could receive 2 to 3 inches as the storm progresses. Southern Louisiana remains a hotspot for heavy snow, and this trend continues into parts of Mississippi and Alabama. If you're in these areas, be prepared for significant snowfall and dangerous conditions. The winter storm is shifting east across southeast Louisiana, and we're also seeing a transition due to temperature changes. Instead of significant freezing rain, we're seeing a glaze of sleet in some areas. In Florida and southern Georgia, there's potential for a large area of sleet with 2 to 3 inches of accumulation possible, especially around Jacksonville. Additionally, there's a hot spot showing up for a 1/4 inch of freezing rain and possibly a couple of inches of ice. It's not just Florida. Southern Texas is also seeing freezing rain accumulation. Some areas could experience up to 1/10 or even a 1/4 inch of ice. This freezing rain will make conditions dangerous, so please stay home if you can. Looking at the national blend of models, the heavier snowfall is shifting into Louisiana and Georgia, with a possibility of 4 to 5 inches across the Florida Panhandle in southern Georgia. The European model also supports this, showing 8 to 10 inches of snow in southeastern Texas and southern Louisiana, which then shifts into southern Georgia. The Carolinas and North Carolina are also in the path of this snowstorm. The GFS model shows a similar trend, with heavy snow banding moving eastward. This means areas like southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle could see significant snowfall ranging from 3 to 5 inches and possibly more. Georgia and South Carolina are also expecting heavier accumulations, with snowfall extending into North Carolina as well. Zoomed in forecasts and timing: by tomorrow morning, freezing rain and sleet will mix in over areas like San Antonio and Corpus Christi, with rain along the Gulf Coast. As the storm moves toward Houston, a mix of precipitation is expected before transitioning to heavy snow. Banding will intensify along areas like Bay City and Galveston before moving south and east toward New Iberia and New Orleans. The I-10 corridor is expected to experience hazardous conditions due to heavy banding. Travel in this area will be extremely dangerous, and it's recommended that I-10 be shut down in some areas. Heavy snow will impact Louisiana, southern Mississippi, and southern Alabama, with snowfall rates of up to 1/2 inch to 1 inch per hour at times. By tomorrow afternoon, the snow will transition to the Florida Panhandle, impacting areas like Panama City and Tallahassee. Heavy snow banding is expected to bring 3 to 5 inches of snow across northern Florida and into Georgia. This will continue into the evening, with freezing rain and sleet likely transitioning to snow in areas like Lake City, Perry, and Jacksonville. Tomorrow night, freezing rain and snow will move across northern Florida and into southern Georgia. Areas like Savannah and Charleston, South Carolina, will experience moderate snowfall, with lighter accumulations farther north. However, the heaviest snow bands are expected to remain concentrated over Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. Dangerously cold wind chills have set in across the nation as true Arctic air continues to plunge all the way down to the deep south. There's a huge swath of well below zero temperatures. In fact, the feels like temperature is as low as minus 54 degrees in some areas. That is dangerously cold weather. This Arctic air mass is continuing to sink farther south, reaching the Gulf Coast. This setup will likely lead to a significant winter storm starting tonight and continuing into tomorrow through Wednesday. This storm is expected to bring heavy snowfall and even record-breaking amounts for some coastal cities. If you're new to the channel and enjoy detailed weather breakdowns, hit the subscribe button to stay updated with all my daily content and keep ahead of the storm. Here's the latest on the winter storm. True Arctic air is coming in from the north and pressing farther south. This could be a historic event. The pink areas on the map indicate winter storm warnings that extend all the way down to the deep south, including Brownsville, Texas, San Antonio, Austin, Southeast Texas, and the Houston Metroplex. Both Houston airports are expected to shut down tonight around midnight in preparation for the storm. These winter storm warnings also cover Lake Charles, New Orleans, southern Mississippi, Alabama, and even the Florida Panhandle, which could see record-breaking snowfall. This is shaping up to be a significant event for these areas. The first winter storm has already left its mark. We forecasted a swath of 4 to 8 inches of snow, and that prediction was verified, with some areas seeing even higher amounts. West Virginia and parts of Maryland reported over a foot of snow. Other areas like Pennsylvania, the coastline, and Maine experienced 6 to 8 inches, especially in the yellow shaded regions on the map. I was watching the Eagles game yesterday, and the snow was coming down hard during the game. Now, behind that first storm, true Arctic air is settling in across much of the lower 48 states. High pressure systems this significant only occur during Arctic outbreaks like this. Arctic air is extremely dry, among the driest air masses possible, and it originates straight from the North Pole, extending deep into the United States. It's rare to see a 1,044 millibar Arctic high pressure system reach as far south as Texas and northern Mexico, but this is pushing Arctic air farther south. Meanwhile, a warm surge of moist air is rising from the Gulf of Mexico. This clash of bone-dry Arctic air and Gulf moisture is setting the stage for our southern snowstorm. Dew points across much of the central U.S. are in the negative 20s and 30s, indicating extremely dry air with no chance of precipitation. However, as we move into Oklahoma and Texas tonight and tomorrow morning, dew points begin to rise, especially along the coast where the winter storm is expected to intensify. The precipitable water index shows this well. The darker browns indicate very dry air, while lighter browns and greens appear as you move into Texas and the deep south. The greens represent moisture from the Gulf, which is being lifted into the Arctic air mass. This interaction will overturn the atmosphere and trigger the winter storm. Take a look at the 1,050 millibar Arctic high pressure system parked over the Rockies. It's funneling cold air from Canada into the deep south, creating a battle zone where warm Gulf winds meet the frigid Arctic air. This fight will likely start as rain tonight in far southeastern Texas, including areas like Brownsville and Victoria. This is a significant event for the Houston metro, possibly the biggest snowfall since February 1960. We're talking about 6 inches in Houston and 5 to 6 inches in Galveston. That's incredible. Beaumont could see 4 inches, and Lake Charles may get up to 5 inches. The event becomes even more historic as heavier snow bursts are likely to unfold through Lafayette, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans. For New Orleans, snowfall totals of 8 to 9 inches are possible, which is extraordinary. If that happens, it would be the biggest snowfall there since 1895. That's truly historic, as records date back to when tracking began. This event has the potential to break all-time snowfall records in several areas. Looking at Florida, the greatest snowfall records include 4 inches in Milton and smaller amounts like a couple of tenths in Tampa. However, Pensacola holds a record of 3 inches, Tallahassee at 2.8 inches, and Panama City around 2 inches. High-resolution models suggest similar totals for this event: 2.5 inches in Pensacola, 2.7 inches in Panama City, and 3 inches in Tallahassee. The Florida Panhandle could see 1 to 4 inches of snow, and if that happens, some cities could break their all-time snowfall records. Further north, Wilmington could see 3 inches, Jacksonville around 5 inches, and Virginia Beach a couple of inches along the coast. Overperforming totals of 4 to 6 inches are not out of the question for coastal areas. Outside of these areas, the dry Arctic air will dominate, keeping snowfall pressed right along the coast. If you live along the coast, this could be a once-in-a-lifetime snow event, especially for areas like New Orleans that rarely see snow. This is why this storm is so remarkable. It's bringing snow to places that almost never experience it. The cold air will lock in for the rest of the work week, keeping temperatures exceptionally low. After the snowfall, with snow on the ground and clear skies, radiational cooling will maximize overnight lows. The National Weather Service estimates that 25 new record low temperatures could be set by Wednesday morning. Some of these lows are bone-chilling, negative temperatures in Ohio and Pittsburgh, with teens below zero in parts of the Midwest. Even Lake Charles could drop to 12 degrees, an incredibly rare occurrence. The combination of snowpack, clear skies, and Arctic air will drive these record-breaking lows. By Wednesday morning, many areas could see daily record lows. This is truly an extraordinary weather event. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned for my next update. I'll keep you protected before and after the storm.